You asked a really good question. You want to know if coughing fits could actually cause your water to break at some point during pregnancy. And thankfully, no, that is not a risk factor. And surprisingly enough, as fragile as you might think the amniotic sac would be, it's pretty tough. And most people are able to carry their babies to full term, and actually 9 out of 10 women have to have their water broken for them in the hospital while they're in labor. So that means that only about 10% of women have their water break spontaneously, and this is at full term. A woman's water breaks prematurely only about 3% of the time, but this does account for up to a third of preterm deliveries. And so once your water's broken, there's a huge risk that you'll go into labor and deliver your baby. So it's definitely not something that you want to have happen if you're preterm. We have identified a few different risk factors that significantly increase a woman's chances of having her water break prematurely. The biggest risk is actually vaginal infections. Studies have also shown that women who experience vaginal bleeding in the first trimester are also much more likely to have their water break prematurely. And another risk factor is cigarette smoking. So if you smoke, there's so many reasons to quit, but this is just one important one. If your water were to break, then in most cases it's not a huge gush, like clean up on aisle 10 like they showed in the movies. It's usually more like you're not about to tell anyone that just happened because you feel like you peed your pants. And so if there's any doubt in your mind, then go to the bathroom and empty your bladder and then put on a pad or a panty liner. And if over the course of the next few minutes it continues to trickle out, then chances are you don't have bladder leakage issues, your water might be broken. And if you ever suspect this, whether you're contracting or not, or have other symptoms or not, this in and of itself is a very good reason to go to labor and delivery and be checked out. The staff there would see what that fluid is that you've been leaking, and if it is indeed amniotic fluid, then you're admitted to the hospital. That is an admit ticket. So it's important to not sit at home and just wait and see what's going to happen next, because the amniotic sac is a barrier between the inside and outside world, and once that barrier is breached, then it increases your chances of infection and, as I mentioned earlier, also delivery. If you ever have any questions or suspicions, don't ever hesitate to get checked out. And if you have more questions for me in the future, please feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms, and recommend us to your friends and family too.